Lori Alexander is here. And Lori is the author of The Transformed Wife, an online blog dedicated to being a stay-at-home mother. And she's in a car because I believe they're on vacation or camping or something like that. Lori, thank you for coming on. Are you on vacation?
We are. And we were supposed to be able to go to the church and have this interview.
Right.
We don't have Wi-Fi at the cabin or internet, but we don't know that we couldn't get the password. So we just had to come to a park where we could get 4 bars on our phone.
Oh, man. And so do you want to reschedule it or is this good for you?
It's good for us.
It's okay?
Yeah, we went through a lot just to get here. So
Right on. Well, thank you. Happy White History Month. Did you know that July is White History Month?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, this is our 4th year of celebrating white history in July. You know, because they got Black history, Mama history, slave history, Juneteenth history, homosexual history, lesbian history, everybody history but white folks. If it wasn't for white people, there would be no America, to be honest. So we appreciate it and remembering and celebrating white history. So happy White History, Lori.
Thank you.
So what is transformed wife? What does that mean?
Transformed by the power of Jesus Christ and his word and his spirit.
And so you were transformed. Were you transformed by Jesus?
Yes.
And prior to being transformed, what were you? What were you like? What did you believe and how did
My
you?
husband, I was.
Oh, hey, husband.
You want to say hi? No. There he is.
Hey,
Hi.
husband.
What was I like before I was transformed? Contentious, quarreling, always upset with him. He always had to walk on eggshells around me. I was always upset with him. Nothing he could do to please me. He would please me for 10 minutes or something. And then he would do something that would upset me and I would be angry with him. And we just argued all the time. It was just not him.
When you were in that fallen state, did you know you were wrong for putting him under that type of pressure?
No, it's all I was modeled to me. My mom and dad fought all the time. It's all I really saw. And in Genesis, it says her desire will be for her husband.
Yeah.
And that isn't the desire to love. And because you don't see women naturally doing that. It's to have control over them.
Yeah.
And so our natural desire is to want to control our husband. And because we think we know better, because I went to all the Bible studies and women's conferences, so I was much more spiritual than him. I read my Bible every day, even though he had gone to seminary and grew up in a missionary family. I was much wiser and smart. So I went to marriage with all these expectations, expecting him to treat me like a queen and how he should treat me. I didn't go into marriage thinking, how can I serve and please my husband?
Yeah.
It was all about, that's what we're taught in America and Hollywood, about we're the queen. He should make me romance me and make me feel wonderful and tell me I'm beautiful all the time. And so all these expectations just tore down our marriage.
Yeah. When he was catering to you like that, did it ever bring peace to you that he was being that weak, trying to please you? Did you ever find peace within yourself?
No, because we would fight, and every single fight, he would have to chase me and apologize, and I wouldn't be happy. I'd go up in a room and pout and cry and give him the silent treatment until he talked to me, apologized. No, it didn't give me any peace because I never admitted. There was no repentance. Nothing admitting that I was at fault.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was always his fault. I just married the wrong guy. I thought the women who were really great wives just married a perfect man.
Amazing. Do you have children?
4 grown children in their 30s.
And so have you apologized to the children for being that way while they were growing up and giving their father such hell like that?
I sure did.
And were they? How did they respond to you going to them and apologizing for what you had done?
Oh, they responded great. We've always had a good relationship with our children,
Right.
and they can see the complete transformation in me, though.
Ri-
Even the way I treat them and other people. As I learned to love my and please my husband, I
Right.
learned to just serve him. I was very selfish. Wanted. He even admitted that when when he was young. He said, "I just married the most selfish woman," and and so it's learning to. It's not about self-love and
Right.
self-esteem, and it's all about Jesus and serving other people, loving God and loving others. That's what life's all about. And so as I learned to love him and serve him, I learned to serve other people too, my children. I learned there was a lot more joy,
Yep.
a lot more
Absolutely.
contentment living that way instead of anger and bitterness.
Yeah. Are you? So you have sons or daughters or both?
I have two of each,
And are they married?
and they're all happily married, and they're all walking in truth.
So are the boys married to women who were like you before you made this change? Are the women controlling them or
No,
hard to deal with?
no, they married women. My young son, after my transformation, and I wrote a book and I was blogging, he said, "How do I make sure I don't marry a feminist?" I said, "Have her read my book," But and actually they both helped edit my book. But
Nice.
they're not controlling at all. They're very they I mean none of us are perfect, and they're young, so they have growing and maturing to do, but they're wonderful wives to my sons, wonderful mothers to their children. They don't try to control their husbands. The husbands are absolutely the heads of the home. And
And
because of that, the husbands want to please their wives.
and you so did you make this transformation before they became adults or afterward?
It was when I was 45 and they were in high school still.
Oh, okay.
They were still at home. I think my oldest might have been grown up and gone, but yeah, she was grown up and gone, but she heard all of. I was the type that I love learning, so I was always teaching them things all the time growing up. I'm a born teacher, and I taught before I got married and a couple years after I married. So yeah, I taught them everything I was learning.
And so
About,
are the daughters controlling their husbands or they have submitted?
no, they're very submissive, good, godly wives. They don't try
Nice.
to control their husbands. No,
Amazing.
and their husbands are definitely masculine. All the boys, my sons and sons-in-law, are very masculines, heads of the home. The girls are all very feminine, love being wives and mothers. I have my 13th grandbaby on the way, maybe 14th.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah. So they're and
White
they're all.
babies. We need white babies.
I know we need black babies too.
Well, I don't know. Blacks giving
Too.
us too much trouble, problems.
Well, they need black babies born to godly dads,
Right. Absolutely.
moms. But yeah, they all love being wives and mothers. They're all full-time mommies, um, and I have a picture of. We just took a picture of our whole entire family just a couple months ago with all of my kids, their spouses, and my grandchildren, and it's just like this is what life's all about. Not a career, not
That's
about
right.
it's
That's
loving
right.
and pouring your lives into your family.
So it's like looking for a needle in a haystack today for the average man to find the right woman, right? Because most of these women are sluts and hoochie mama dancing and just literally carrying on, thinking that they're acting like a man, not understand. And they are sleeping with every Tom, Dick, and Harry. Anything that come along, they're ready to throw their legs up. What do you say to guys who would love to get married and start a family? What would you suggest they do?
Find the most biblically solid church in your area, and that's hard to find because most churches are there to entertain the masses and to tickle their ears. We just found a church that is so biblically solid. Our pastor preaches the word, uses the word. The songs are hymns and spiritual songs that have deep theology. Find a church that like that, and he's going through a series on the family, and a pastor that's not afraid to speak to women's sins,
Yeah.
that calls them out, and find a woman there that's active in there. That's the best place. Another thing is, if they find a woman that they feel like is really godly, have her read my book and see how she responds to that.
What's your book?
The Power of the Transformed Wife.
And how can they get it?
On Amazon. And I have a study guide called Biblical Womanhood, a study guide. And I wrote that. It's all the different traits of being a godly woman: being sober, loving and obeying your husband, loving your children, being a keeper at home, sober, chaste, discreet, silent in the churches, meek and quiet spirit. A chapter on all of those where they dig into God's word and study biblical womanhood. So they really learn what it is, and they can get that on Amazon too. $1.95 on Kindle if they don't have, or email me if they can't afford it. But that's how the guys need to make sure they're marrying a woman. She won't be perfect or anywhere near, young women mostly, but that they have a soft, teachable heart. My husband married me because he could see probably the rebellion. Could you see the rebellion in me before you married me? Yeah, he could. But he knew I would be an amazing mother, and he knew I loved the Lord passionately. And I read every book out there, but they would always tell the husband side too. The husband must love the wife like Christ loved the church. And he never loved me like Christ loved the church. And I was the measuring stick,
Amazing.
And so I finally found a book called Creative Bees Helpmeet that just spoke to women. And all of a sudden, that one finger I was pointing to my husband, the three were pointing back to me. And it's going, I just ran upstairs and apologized to him. Oh, I've been an awful wife, So that was what convicted me.
I've noticed that the hardest thing in the world for a woman to do is like trying to pull a tooth with a pair of pliers without anesthesia. The hardest thing for a woman to do is admit that she is wrong. Why is it, she can point out everybody else and their mama, but she can't. She will not. She would kill the grass, the dogs, the paint on the house, the children, the cat, the husband, before she admits she's wrong. Why is it so hard for women to admit that they're wrong?
You know what? 80% of divorces are initiated by women, up to 80%.
Yeah.
And why? Because once a woman decides to divorce her husband, it's over. It's almost impossible to change her mind. Whereas a man, if he decides to divorce his wife, he could be won so much more easily.
Yeah.
But for some reason, we are very stubborn and to admit we're wrong.
Is it because God is the man's God and Satan is the woman's God? You know how Eve gave in to Satan and Satan became her daddy? And the man believed into the woman, and the woman became his God. And so it seemed to be easier for the man to overcome the woman than it is for woman to overcome Satan.
Well, we definitely are more easily deceived.
Yeah.
And I don't know, we just think we're right. We just think we're superior. That's what whole feminist movement is thinking. It's not fighting for equality with men. It's fighting for superiority. You can see that the future is female.
Yeah.
We think we're better than men. And we know better than men. We know how to rule. That's what the whole fighting for the vote was, because we thought we could rule better than men. Our vote would be better. But in fact, it's torn down our nation, women being ruling and voting and everything. God created men. We listened to a podcast of yours yesterday, and my husband wanted to find out who you were and what you believe. And you were saying men are rule with more logic and reason, and that's so true. And we tend to rule with our emotions and our feelings, which lie to us constantly. So this is what I'm always teaching the women: don't be ruled by your emotions and feelings. You must be ruled by truth instead.
About to come to a break, so I'm going to have to let you go. We got started late here. I wish we had more time.
Okay.
What's your husband's first name?
Ken.
Ken?
Yes.
Tell him I said hello and happy White History Month. Tell the folks once again how to get your blog and your book and all that good stuff. TheTransformedWife.com is my blog, and The Power of the Transformed Wife is on Amazon. Lori, let's talk again.
Okay,
when you're not on vacation And
Okay.
thank you so much for coming on. Enjoy your vacation.
Thank you.
All right. God bless you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Amazing. So she's on vacation, folks. So we'll have her back again. And maybe we take some calls and all that good stuff. Amazing. And don't forget to like, follow, tweet, subscribe, and share the Jesse Lee Peterson radio show, folks. We really appreciate it. We are at war. It is a spiritual battle for the soul of America. And it's going to take all of us to do it.